is sort of at the border between sociolinguistics and linguistic anthropology. So I do a lot of sort of qualitative discourse analytic work that uses ethnography as a way of sort of both seeing what language does and seeing how language sort of influences culture or perpetuates particular cultural trends or ideas. My brother and I have a game where he asked me once, he said, well, you seem to like study whatever you want to study, anything. And I was said, well, that's because language is everywhere. And so he developed this game where he points at something and says, what's the paper, right? So at, at Christmas dinner, he whispers, Aunt Roberta, what's the paper, right? Like, how would you analyze the way that she speaks, right? And so I tell that to my students and tell them that what they're sort of learning to do is to be good at that game, right? Seeing what's
Mhm.
interesting behind how people use language. The way that society is organized is through language, right? The way we convey ideas to one another is through language. So it's the sort of central place where that sort of holds a society together and creates sort of differences. And so, in terms of what sociolinguistics is good for or what it does, um, the longer I sort of study sociolinguistics, the more useful I find it in lots of different ways. So there are sort of applications in, say, the treatment of speech disorders or um, autism disorders. I've done work with um, uh, healthcare interpreters on sort of how interactions proceed. I've done a number of legal cases where the interaction and the sort of use of language in a criminal case um, created inequality in some way. So, and I've done workshops with businesses on sort of improving how people across differences talk to one another. So I think the applications and usefulness of sociolinguistics are probably endless. And if that's what you choose to do, you'll keep finding more and more interesting uses of what you know and what you've learned.